Welcome to the Bulk Wine Talks presented by the World Bulk Wine Exhibition. I've been going to the World Bulk Wine Exhibition in Amsterdam every year, almost since the first year. And I was a journalist. I still am a commentator on the industry. I was then at one point a wine critic. And I wasn't actually invited. I got myself in because I was so fascinated to know about this event. Friends who are professionals had told me that I must go. And from the first moment I went there, I realized this was a very different event to what I was used to at Provine, Vinexpo, Vinitaly, Alimentaria, where there were big stands and lots of posters and signage and all sorts of glitz, if you like. Bulk Wine Fair, Bulk Wine Exhibition is not about that. The stands are small, for the most part, they're shell schemes, and it's all about work. Everybody there is there either to sell or to buy wine. And the discussions are very businesslike. And what you hear, you learn about the latest vintage, you learn about what people have in stock, and you learn about the reality of the bulk wine world across the world. And one of the first things I discovered when I went there was I guess like a lot of people, I expected bulk wine to be about the cheapest, the wine that nobody wanted to talk about, that they had to sell in bulk, less than $1 a liter, whatever. And it was when I realized that I would find Chablis and Chateauneuf du Pape and Shiraz from Australia for €4, €5 a litre, that I realized that this was a far more serious place in terms of wine. And when I realized as well that over 35% of the world's wine is actually traded in bulk in some way or shipped in bulk, it changed my mind as to the importance of the bulk wine business. Now, this year, of course, we're not in Amsterdam, and I'm really missing that event and missing being there. And also, I'm not at the conference sessions that are at that event, which are another big part of it. So this year, the World Bulk Wine Exhibition has decided to host these conference sessions, if you like, that we're holding today, we were holding last week, and we're going on through this week. And they've also set up something called a Connect service, where exhibitors who would have been at the fair and people who would have been visiting the fair can actually get together virtually, so that if somebody's looking for a certain amount of Pinot Noir or Pinot Grigio for that matter, they can be put in contact with somebody who might have that kind of wine. So in a way, nothing replaces the actual exhibition, but there are definitely attempts to create the same effects. And I think that we may all be seeing more of that, even when, hopefully, with the arrival of the vaccines, we get back to something more like normal next year. So my guest today is Jose Bartolucci, who is president of the Argentine Bulk Wine Chamber. And Jose has been working in the wine industry in Argentina for 40 years and has been working in production and in broking. And the first time I went to Argentina was in 1988, I think. So Jose was already working in the business before I went there, and obviously knows so much about the business. And what we're going to be talking about today is about where Argentina is in the bulk, particularly the bulk business, how that relates to that other country in South America, Chile, across the mountains, and also the overall picture of Argentina as a producer. So welcome, Jose. Thank you very much for giving us your time today. So I'm going to ask the first question, really, just so we get a good picture. What percentage, what proportion of Argentina's production and its exports are now bulk?
Hello, Joseph. Nice to meet you. Argentina wine export had a great takeoff for this year, with a total of 335.5 million liters in the accumulates up to October, that represented an increase of 35.7% compared with the same period last year. This amount is around 89 million liters more than. This quantity is 49% are bulk wines, 166 million liters, an increase of more 90% of compared to the same period last year. The growing in terms volume markets is greater presence of Argentina bulk wine is in world markets, and so is recovered in the world ranking to the top exporter countries. Argentina went from 11th place to 8th, thank you to the work for the public and private sector. Why did the bulk modality grow? Fundamentally, due to the competitive quality price ratios of Argentina wine since 2017. Today, at the war of the Argentina Bulk Wine Chamber, since our origin in the middle of 2019, the ABC has been focused in contain foreign buyers and gets their interested and confidence participated for the long-term projects. The Argentina Bulk Wine Chamber is the new entity in charge to promote the bulk wine export from Argentina. We want to bring Argentina to the rights as the suppliers of large volume and quality of bulk wine. Of course, we will be in line in other international promotion organizations in Argentina that has been working hard since a long time. But our specific goal to achieve in the medium term to reach a participation in volume of 8 to 10% in the global wine market.
Thank you, Jose. So I'm going to move on. If we're talking about the wines from Argentina, because everybody knows about Malbec and red wines, what is the proportion of red wine to white wine in terms of exports from Argentina now?
The proportion is the accumulate of the total generic and varietal the share is 74% reds and 25% whites. We divide categories with generic wine breaks down is 72% in reds and 28% in whites. In varietal, 78% reds and 22 whites. Red wines clearly dominate the breakdown, but Argentina has wonderful white wines such as Chardonnay, Torrontés, and Chenin that could supply in large volume also. You know Torrontés?
So, I know Torrontés. So I think that the interesting question there is we're talking about very much for blended wines. I think if you're needing some aromatic character, Torrontés is an interesting muscat-like character builder. So in terms of red varieties in particular, Argentina is now very well known, as we said, for its Malbec, which I think comes in different price categories. What is the range of price for Malbec? Malbec for the cheapest, the most expensive.
Malbec is the most important varietal in Argentina. We have all the range of Malbecs, since Malbec entry level to Malbec top Malbec. The range of the price is very, very different. Is around between 50 cents to the entry level up to $2 or more $2 per liter.
And you were saying also that the second variety is Bonarda, which is coming up, I believe.
Bonarda is the second most cultivated rye variety after Malbec, as one of the most traditional producers with very good potential in this varietal. It's important because it is adaptable to the hot region. Of the total cultivated in Argentina, 60% is located in the Central Valley. It's a war zone located about 2,300 feet. It's producing wine with very good body and rich color, raspberry aroma, and subtle anisette notes. When it's used in blend, it provides intense and fruit notes. Its structure allows it to be aged in barrel with very positive results. Really, it's
And what
very,
is the
very good
price?
variety.
And what sort of price range would Bonarda cost now?
The rain is Bonarda is below maybe 20-25% below to Malbec.
So we could be buying Bonarda for 40, maybe 40 cents at the
Yes,
lowest.
it's possible.
Yeah. So now price is an interesting question because if I look at the price of Argentina and the price of wine from Chile on your neighbor,
Yeah.
the Chilean wine seems to be twice the price of Argentina. Is that can you explain that? And also, is that something that is going to continue for a long time?
No. That situation was a window and a specific moment of the markets. Is in the first quarter, precisely in the nowadays of the generic wine from Argentina are increasing closer to Chilean generic wine. Everybody knows that the spots opportunity can happen in the global market subject to different factors, and Argentina is part of the reality too. It's very important that you know Argentina has a very expensive cost in freights. Mendoza to Chile, for example, is very expensive, and the cost and the similar cost with the wine is when Chile and the price is FOB, in Mendoza is FCA Mendoza, and you need you need put the cost of the freight.
So to get
Now,
from Mendoza to export wine from Argentina, and most wine is coming from Mendoza, we would be shipping the wine out of Chile rather than out of Argentina. Is that correct?
yes, we are loading in Argentina, in Mendoza, in San Juan, or every province or every region. We across the mountain is around to 400 or 450 kilometers to the port, and then go to different country.
Okay, so we have an additional cost of transport.
Only we need to take out during the winter, because the snow in the mountain is stopped to the way.
So while you're talking about the weather, you had frost a few weeks ago in Mendoza. What was the damage to the crop, and what do you think the 2021 crop will be like?
We suffer a frost episode that struck Mendoza during the first weekend on October. And the extent of the damages is still being analyzed. Should be clear is in the next week, but for sure, this type of climate even can have impacts of the volume of production, but the risk period is over, fortunately. Today, I can say with certainty that the quality of the wine will be excellent, and the supply to foreign markets will be not big affected. And today, we think that the harvest will be normally.
Now, I know Argentina quite well, and I have been there a number of times. And if I'm honest, almost every time I come to Argentina, there is an economic crisis. And everybody seems to be quite relaxed quite often about the economic crisis, but they are crises, and the currency goes up and down against other currencies. So how does the situation at the moment, where you are waiting, I think, for a recovery plan, and the peso has gone down again, how has this affected the wine situation?
In fact, a figure from the National Viticulture Institute show export in volume continuing to grow. Throughout 2019, January to December, sale to the world of Argentina bottled wine has an increase of 3.3%, while bulk wine reached 33.4% annually. The recovery trend was accentuated in the first semester of the year. January-June export in volume of Argentina wines grew 51.9%, with increase of 3% of bottled wine and 155.9% in wine in barrels. We estimate to close 2020 with almost 190 million liters of all wine export. It is the biggest record of the past 10 years. Nowadays, the national government has a strong policy to support export and the Argentina wine industry, and receiving a lot of attention in this way.
Now, your business is obviously, and it's in your interest to promote the bulk sector in Argentina, but there is an argument that the sale of bulk wine hurts the image of bottled wine. And the statistics that you have just shown suggest that today the emphasis in export markets is more on bulk than bottle. Is that right? Bulk is growing faster than bottle.
Yeah, that's fine. And our project is that Argentina will be provide to the export markets for 8 to 10% to every year. In this way, we need to more promotion, coordinate more promotion action with a new potential importers. So we hope to be better and better in the future. Increase the promotion to current and potential international markets as Asia or and Africa, for example.
Now, this year, obviously, COVID, we have to talk about COVID. And in Argentina, restaurants have been closed for a long time. How has the internal market been affected by COVID, and how has that affected your export markets, export work?
Yeah, it is very interesting to see how the wine industry was working during the lockouts caused by COVID-19 virus in Argentina. In March this year, the COVID-19 pandemic it was in the full harvest. However, company and public institutions were able to quickly adaptation to generate health protocols to complete the fundamental stage of the production process and guarantee the care of the workers. After the harvest, with all the essentially of the case, winery and trade channel began to notice a slight but sustainable positive curve in sale. Since the first month 2020, since been showed recover in domestic markets. The accumulate in the first 9 months of shipment to the domestic market grew 8.3% according to data to the National Institutes of Viticulture. With these figures, the wine shipments up to September exceeded by more than 54 million liters in the same period in 2019. The wine consumption in 2020 was attributed to warranty mostly that caused people have a lunch at home and resumes of the traditional habits of drinking wine with milk. However, some activity has been slowly normalizing and sales in the domestic market remain on this rise, which explain it because the chain in habitat has been sustained. Young people began to continue more wines. The price is affordable. There are different options for different type.
So thank you. Argentina, again, when I came to Argentina the first time, the consumption I think has come down a bit, but Argentina was the number one wine consuming country in the world, and in everywhere I went in the shops, wine was in Tetra packs, and people were buying wine like water. I think it's not
Yeah.
quite so. I think consumption, as I said, come down a bit, but it's still a very big wine consuming country, which in historically did not need to export as much as, for example, Chile, which has to export to survive. Is that correct?
The local market in Argentina was and will be very important all the time. Argentina is the fifth place in the world in wine production with 11.8 million hectoliters and seventh in the implanted area with more than 210,000 hectares. There are about 900 wineries in the country. Viticulture generates more than 106,000 directly and 280,000 indirectly jobs. It's a huge regional economy in Argentina since the point of the view. Round 12 world wine in per capita consumption currently being to 20 liters of wine per year per habitant. 8 of 10 Argentina drink wine at home or at the company or the friend or our family. However, we have experienced in general increased consumption that will persist in the wine, and it is estimated it will not longer to be too much the 2013 level was 25.6 liter. In 2018, per capita consumption close at just 18 to 0.77 liter, up from 2025 in 2017.
So you think that do you think actually reached the floor? Do you think that is the lowest point for consumption in Argentina?
Yeah, we are sure that this is the floor. The consumption in the local market is around 840 million liters. And the projection for the next year is around 1,000 million liters in the domestic market. You consider also that Argentina will be improving the export performance in the bottled wine and the bulk wines and grape juice concentrates. Argentina is the top exporter in the world, and the other products as raisin and fresh grape. It's very good economics with the viticulture.
So, which countries are the biggest biggest customers for your bulk wines, and how has this changed over the years?
In terms of volume, China, Canada, and UK are the major markets for the bulk wine from Argentina, almost with the same share in the chain of volume. Argentina did not export wine to China in 2017 and 2018. In 2019, we could start to work closer with the importers, and result we got more than 10 million liters sold in these markets, and now in 2020, in 10 months, we reached more than 30 million liters. Canada
So,
is very.
so can I just ask
Sorry?
about China? When you sell your wine to China, does your bulk wine go into bottles with the word Argentina on the label, or is it sold as Chinese wine, do you think?
Actually, with China market is 90% for 2020. 90% is in bulk wines, and 9% is in bottle wine.
Okay. So, but the bulk wine.
There are several imported that they put in the label Argentina wines. Sure.
Okay, that's interesting. So you were saying Canada is a good market as well.
Yeah, Canada is very attractive markets for our bulk wines, varietal especially. We have been increasing our participation in this market strongly in the past 3 years from 10 million liter up to 30 million liter we estimate to reach this year. UK is another great market for varietal Malbec mainly with the same conduct of Canada. We will reach more than 30 million liter also for this year. Really
So
very
those,
important.
so these three markets are buying a similar volume. Is the value the same in these three countries?
Yeah, the volume is the same. The volume
What about
now
the
is the
value?
same.
They pay the same price?
Not the same price because one market choose Malbec, Canada different variety, and China is generic and varietal. It's different.
So China is paying the lowest price.
China, yes, and we have also very good opportunity for high quality in bulk wine in China.
So what has
We are sure.
happened to the Chinese market this year?
China has suddenly because it's very interested in markets. In the past 10 years, Argentina bulk in China where is totally inexistent. In 2019, when we could make a big difference, thank you to promotional campaign to a group of company members of our entity. This is the last month of 2018. They participate in different business events across to the most important city at Hong Kong, Guangzhou, Shanghai, Beijing, and the results is clear impressive. The China reported we are in love of the quality price ratio of our wines and we continue increase promotional activity with them in order to introduce more and more wines.
So that's
For
interesting.
example,
Go on.
for example, this morning we had a presentation with our chamber to the embassy to China markets. We stay present to embassy and all the consulates for all the China markets. Really, very, very important.
So thank you. Now Russia is a more complicated picture at the moment for bulk wine, I think.
Yeah, that's right. But it's general situation for all the country. Russia reduced the volume of imports below 19% during the first half of 2020, clearing market was announced to the introduction of the new wine law of the Russian Federation. In force, since June, it has very negative effects for the foreign bulk wine import in order to the favor to the domestics, to the domestic production, which has controversies among operation considering that the Russian production is quite insufficient to cover national consumption. Thus, bulk wine largest markets to import decline in Russia up to 90%, up to 90% actually. But the opportunity to sell bottled wines packaged in origin increased with the creation of the new wine law in Russia. So we sold to see how market reacts.
Now, you mentioned that Canada was an interesting market. What's been happening in Canada over the last few years?
Canada it's very important for the Argentina Bulk Wine generics and varietal both. It has been increasing its volume since 2017, and to varietal wine is double figures year by year. About that, with most the point is that Malbec is not the first. Syrah, Merlot, and Chardonnay are the starts and the Malbec. Cabernet Sauvignon and Pinot Grigio. It's clear example. It's clear example of we have other Argentina wine variety are on the in demand. We hope to close this year and estimate 30 million liters sold in this market. But it's not only important in Canada. We can see that many our members selling wines, so that's mean we are correct. Pay consideration to style basis the quality price ratio. Really very important Canada.
And the UK is also growing. Do you think?
Yes,
Do you think?
we think UK with varietal and maybe
No.
the most important is Malbec. Malbec is all the range of Malbecs. Is the medium range and top range. You
So
have
now
there bottle wine, very big bottle wine there.
So last week we had a conversation with Bernard Fontanez from Origin Wines, who makes wine
Yeah,
in Argentina and in South Africa. So I think you know him, and he
yeah, we know.
sells wine from both places in bulk. So what do you think is the biggest competitor for Argentina in bulk wine?
All important players are competitors: Spain, Chile, Australia, South Africa, United States. Argentina can offer highly attractive price quality ratio across all wine segments. With the Argentina Bulk Wine Chamber creation, now the fair international promotional campaign of the Argentina Bulk Wines will be released across the most important markets abroad in order to reveal the potential of quality and the price that our wine can provide. Argentina is placed at the forefront in the wine industry thanks to your solid foundation. The production and consumption of wine in the country go back to begin at the 16th century. The cultural history, the immensity of our territory, the rising of the land and the state to our enology, which combine latitudes, altitudes, and mountain, make Argentina an exceptional place for growing grapes. Importers must know to Argentina as a big viticulture player that offer great wines, and for this reason, we will promoting this message in the main markets and the same direction which Wine of Argentina, WOFA, is working, which in generally Mase is the same in Spanish, Vino Argentino, is the same message.
So Bernard Fontanez was saying that for him, one of the big areas of potential is organic wine. What is happening in organic wine in Argentina, bio wine?
The organic wine is growing now. Is more you find to more in bottled wine, but also we have in bulk wine also.
Because I think Argentina is not a difficult place. The conditions are good for organic, I think.
Very, very good condition for organic wine. Very, very good condition.
So are you seeing a growth each year for organic? Are you seeing more organic wine each year? Is there more organic wine each year?
Yeah, sure.
So
It's growing.
So every year you do a trip for visitors of trade visitors to Argentina in July and obviously this year that could not happen. Are you planning to bring visitors to Argentina in 2021 if we have the vaccine and if everything is a little easier?
Yeah, sure. Really, we hope that the COVID-19 change the situation here, and we will can organize the business trips in the second edition in July 2021. They will. This opportunity was excellent an opportunity for us because we have a very good experience in 2019 when we can find to several company visit to Argentina in different region. We have a very nice meeting with 94 wineries from Argentina, with 28 buyers from Germany, Belgium, Canada, China, Denmark, the Philippines, Finland, France, Hong Kong, Poland, United Kingdom, Russia, and Sweden. Really, when the visitor looks all the situation in Argentina and the viticulture, this is different. It's more easy to sell wines. Currently, this is not even in the southern hemisphere to expose new wine. We hope over there we can install this event in July. I invite to you and different journalists to these events. We need Argentina needs more and more promotion. We need to find a good partner for a long time, not occasional, by permanent business. This is
Jose,
our house.
So thank you very much for that. I've included a number of questions from other people in my questions. I'm wondering, Christina, who is producing, Christina from the WBWE, who is producing these talks. I don't know if Christina has any other questions. If not, I think we are probably coming up to our time. So if no more questions are coming in, what I'd like to do is to say thank you very much, Jose, for your time. Tonight's talk and all of the other talks are on YouTube, so people can go and look at those and comment afterwards. And please continue to follow us. Tomorrow night we are looking at La Mancha in Spain, which is, of course, another of the world's most important bulk wine producing countries. And I hope that what we're seeing over these talks, and we've looked at America, we've looked at South Africa, and we've looked at Australia, we looked at each of these markets. The bulk market is very complicated and it's very dynamic and it's growing. It's not an area that is actually losing traction at all. And I think what's interesting is the way that it is evolving. So thank you again, Jose. I wish you good luck with the coming harvest in Argentina. And I hope that we can all be traveling next year, whether I see you in July or whether we meet at the Bulk Wine Fair in Amsterdam in September or some other time. Adios. Gracias. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your information. We are participating 12 years ago in bulk wines. is the
So,
first person from Argentina and South America. Thank
hasta
you.
la
Thank you
próxima.
very much.
Thank you.
Hasta la próxima.
Hasta la próxima.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.